it might provoke some new ideas or new things that you hadn't thought about before. And if you're brave enough, you'll try them in the final presentation. And you might fall flat in your face and get an awful grade. Or you might be glorious and get...
My name is Javier Rivera, and I'm an assistant professor of theater at American University. I remember watching TV when I was a little boy and wanting my mom to open the top of the TV and to put me inside the TV, because this is like when I was 4. Like, I thought if you open that box, they could plop you in and you could be in that soap opera or that movie or that cartoon. And I remember that happening with Wizard of Oz. I remember seeing the Wizard of Oz and wanting to be in that world.
Stretch gently, gently, gently all the way up, and tip of the tongue behind your bottom teeth, and now let out, stretch on an ah.
I have theater students in my Fundamentals of Acting 3 class, but I also teach Principal Plays and Performance, which is a Gen Ed class, and I have a bunch of people. I mean, the population is very diverse. I have theater majors, broadcast journalism majors, SIS majors, poli-sci majors. That's the class where I get to really spark an interest in theater when it comes to introducing theater to somebody for the first time. I have a lot of kids that have never seen a show before in their lives, and then they get to read Medea, or they just read The Cherry Orchard by Chekhov, and that's like, oh my God, what is this? I've never faced this in my life before. So those are the moments where I do really genuinely love teaching. When an SIS major says, oh my God, I should minor in theater. I've changed that life forever.
Out through your mouth at your own rate. I feel the nervous energy. I love it.
Javier is great. He's my first director here at AU, and it's just been so fun because a lot of other directors that I've had aren't as crazy and loose and just willing to do outrageous things like Javier is. And a lot of them aren't as obsessed with winning warm-up games as Javier. I think the favorite moment was during one of our warm-up games when he finally lost, because he has this knack of wanting to keep winning and even cheating in order to keep winning. And so just him finally losing and owning up to the fact that he lost, that was just a great moment for everyone in the cast. It bonded us.
Moments when you're speaking that specific line or saying that specific word or that specific phrase, doesn't matter. You're gonna be...
I see my classes as a one-man show. I feel that I am sort of performing for an hour and 15 minutes. That's how I have to tackle it. I hate to be a boring teacher just sitting there lecturing. I gotta make the class interesting for me, because if it's interesting for me, it'll be interesting for them. So I really craft, like days before the class is due, I really craft a one-man show. And it's a class that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And it has a climax, and it has a turning point, and it has a surprise ending.
So, today's a day to, really honor your friendships and tell your friends that you love them and that you appreciate their presence in your life and their time in rehearsal and all that good stuff. Good!
Going back to what you said before, what is my favorite thing about working with students, or how do I feel about directing students? It's fun, because I get to talk to them in a different way that I get to talk to them as a teacher. When you're a teacher, you're like, good morning, I'm Professor Rivera. Is your homework here? Oh, good girl or bad girl, whatever. As a director, it's like, why are your lines not memorized? What's going on? Out of my way. I can't waste my time with you.
But they've been changed.
He's always telling us, be bold, go bolder, more, go bolder. And I don't think you can ever be too bold for Javier.
You have to live in the fear. So I always like to tell my students that if you're not feeling the fear, if you don't feel scared or unsure about something, then there's something wrong, because you're way too comfortable. You cannot be comfortable in this life, because nothing good comes out of being comfortable, but everything good comes out of being like, is this gonna work? So I always tell my students, live in the fear.
It's all about the risk, people. Are you willing to take it? All right? You gotta live in that fear, right, Katie? You gotta live in